I want to tell you a story that reminds me of people that do the job you do. And you might have seen it on YouTube last year. Raise your hand when I'm telling it if you've heard it. But last year in the state of Eastern Washington, there were 2 college girls softball teams playing a playoff game. And whoever won the game was going to the state championship. And this game was interesting because all of the girls on the team had been playing since they were yay high, 1st and 2nd grade, and were all phenomenal players. All on college scholarships, this very competitive game. Whoever wins it is going to the state championship, something they've dreamed of since they were yay high. The teams were very, very competitive, but one girl on one of the teams had never hit a home run, and she'd been playing her whole life. It's kind of interesting because all the other teammates were home run, national, and state record breakers. But she'd never hit a home run. In the 5th or 6th inning, she gets up to bat, and she hits, as a senior, her first career home run. Hits the ball out of the park. There's about 100 people watching the game, so the whole thing's on videotape. And her teammates are jumping up and down, cheering, and her family's there crying and cheering. She's going to graduate with having hit a career home run, finally. It was a big deal. And as she's running to first base, she's so excited. She turns to step on first base, and she misses. And she turns her leg and tears several muscles and ligaments in her right leg as she turns to step on first base. Some nerve damage, some permanent damage in her leg. She's crying, and she grabs the base, and she's laying on the ground crying. Her coach goes up to the umpire and says, "What can I do? Can I send a runner in?" The umpire says, "No. It won't count as a home run. It'll just count as a run batted in, 1 run batted in." She says, "What can I do? Is there anything I can do?" And he said, "If you or any of her teammates go out on the field to help her, it's forfeited." So she's out on first base crying, sobbing, in pain. The ball is long gone. The number 1 hitter from both teams is the center fielder from the opposite team. Also a college senior. Her family's also there. And she's waited her whole life to win this game and go to the state championship. And she comes in from the outfield, and she says to the umpire, "What if we carry her?" And the umpire looks in his rule book. He says there's no rule on that. It's never been asked before. So from the very competitive game, the 3 center fielders from the opposite team went to first base, picked her up, and carried her to second base and touched her foot on it. And carried her to third base and touched her foot on it, and carried her home. The team that carried her lost the game at 1 point. The girl that got hurt went on, her team, she never played again, but her team went on and actually won that state championship. The news crews heard about this story, and they interviewed the center fielder. And they said, "Why? It's just 1 run. Why did you do it? You could have won the whole thing. You've waited your whole life." And she said back to them, "She hit the ball. She earned it. Wasn't that just the right thing to do?" That reminds me of you. You're never going to be rich in these jobs, and neither am I, right? You don't do it for the money, right? You do it for the glory? I don't know about you, but you do it. My office has got boxes everywhere. It's not too plush. You got plush offices and someone bringing you coffee every morning? Because I don't. You do it for one reason. It's the right thing to do. And no one's got a camera on you. And no one's going to give you a big reward. And no one's going to come up to you and say, "You saved a life today." And no one's going to come up to you and say, maybe they will, but no one's going to come up to you and say, "Let's interview you on TV. You're such a great star. You're a hero." But every day this year, I challenge you to change the way you think about yourself first. Because if you're kind to yourself and you know there's nothing wrong with you, It'll help you be kind to other people. And remember that story about it was just the right thing when no one's watching. Because you give of yourselves every day in this job when no one's watching, when you can blow the kid off. You can blow the family off. You can be a jerk. God knows I want to be a jerk a lot of times. But when no one's watching and you're giving that extra bit of yourself, you're our heroes. Can you give us a hand for the job you do?